loves your determination. Talagang your determination to succeed. But how do you feel when, some people then say that you don't fit the typical beauty queen mold? How do
I
you take this?
definitely, well, first of all, I definitely agree with them because I really don't. I really don't fit the mold. And I don't see that as a bad thing necessarily. I think it's progress. Because I don't fit the beauty queen mold, I feel like I am representing a different kind of beauty that hasn't been seen before. So that's not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. It just means we're in 2021. Another thing is, well, I don't blame them either for thinking that way. It's how it's always been. So I empathize. I definitely see kung bakit ganun yung opinion nila, and I don't blame them. However, what I can do na lang while I'm here, I can't give up just because a couple of people tell me that I don't fit in. I can just show who I am and what my purpose is. Because this Miss Universe is not just about beauty; it's about beauty and purpose. And while I don't typically, I don't fit the typical mold for a beauty queen, beauty wise, I've never lacked purpose, and I will continue to have purpose, whether meron akong corona or wala. I'm just here because sabi ng qualifications, pwede ako, and this has always been a dream. And it's about time somebody sees somebody like me.
Word woman yourself. Now, what's your purpose here in MUP?
My purpose here is to represent the kind of role model that I needed when I was younger. Because when I was a kid, I would watch this every single year. And I keep thinking to myself, what if there was somebody there who looked like me? What if there was somebody there who represented me? Yung kind of beauty ko growing up. Iniisip ko, would I have been more confident? Would I have had more trust in my potential kung merong nauna sa akin? So ngayon, moving into the competition, I keep reminding myself na, again, this is not just about your personal ambition, it's also becoming the person you needed when you were younger. Because I can't wait for another 5'3" Morena girl to join Miss Universe. I can't wait for another girl with my background, with my story to represent me. Ito na naglabas na sila ng qualification na pwede na ako. So why not join, di ba?
Wow. Wow. I mean, you talk about your clothing line, tapos may podcast ka, and then you also have your own YouTube channel that you do a lot of work. So how does this message intertwine with your
Hmm.
with this MUP platform?
Well, it's really, I think just by being here is already a statement. And it's the same statement that I've been saying sa kahit anong project na gawin ko, whether it's Morena the label, whether it's Camp Confidence Radio, my personal social media. It's all about, pursuing your best self, pursuing opportunities, and representing who you needed when you were younger. So for me, I really needed a role model who was unapologetic, na hindi nahihiya sa katawan niya, na hindi nagsusorry para sa beauty niya. And that's what I want to exude going into the pageant. I don't want to give into the pressure na I need to be this, I need to be that just to be here. I want to be the same Ayin that produced my podcast, the brand, everything else, and leave the competition as the same girl. Kasi sa tingin ko, there is so much power in being yourself and pursuing your best self without just following whatever's been done before. And I guess that's how it all ties in. I just want to see kung ano ba yung ayin na magiging proud ako and magiging proud yung younger self ko.
Especially when we talk about, I want to ask this question in a country where naturally dark-skinned people are conditioned to believe that the light-skinned ones are more attractive and more advantageous. How do you feel that we tend to let our physical appearances sometimes dictate our interactions with one another?
At the same time, I keep trying to have an open mind about it because this is a product of our environment. Yung mga bagay na to, how we interact, what we think about beauty, what we know about beauty, what we believe, these are all things na are honed with how we grow up. So for example, somebody who grew up think or being told na pangit yung balat mo, like you look a certain way or hindi ka good enough because you look like this, syempre mako-condition yung mind nila. So for me, it's really about unlearning these things and having these conversations so that people can talk about them, and kung may ma-pinpoint tayo na kailangan nating tanggalin sa sistema natin, then we can address it. So that's why I don't stop talking about colorism. That's why even with my content, na alam ko naman sa sarili ko, confident na ako. Pero some people wonder, bakit ang daldal mo pa rin about it? It's because for other people, they still need to unlearn. For other people, they still need to absorb this. And if we keep talking about it, maybe we can impact others, and maybe mas gaganda yung tingin nila sa sarili nila and sa ibang tao. And baka dumating tayo sa point in the future generations na it won't be the case. It may be slow progress, but it's still progress, and we'll take what we can get.
Our high colonialism attitude has something to do with how a typical Filipina looks at her skin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been well documented naman yung ano natin, yung history natin with colonialism that definitely impacts how we see ourselves today. And sana nga mabago natin yun kasi balat lang naman yan eh. It's just skin color. At the end of the day, what really matters is who you are. And if we let physical attributes get in the way of getting to know people dahil meron tayong judgments, mahirap yun eh. So, ayun, we're moving forward away from colonialism, pero it takes some work, no? Parang it
Yes,
really does take some work.
I know. How do you feel we can slowly unlearn that kind of bias?
Yeah. There are so many ways to do that. Education is one, but one thing that I think is very relevant, especially in the Miss Universe Philippines platform, is representation. If we put people now we look up to, Miss Universe Philippines is super prestigious. But if we can have people who represent the what we would say na parang unconventional beauty or standards, parang na-elevate eh. And people start to think, oo nga no, it's beautiful naman pala. Oo nga no. Parang napapaisip. They think twice because now it's up there. So I remember yung just seeing these tanned queens on stage, yun pa lang eh. Parang sobrang nakaka-inspire na, wow, parehas kami ng kulay. I remember thinking that when I was younger. Parehas kami ng kulay and she's there and she's confident. Baka pwede rin ako.
Alexander William has a question here. Who is the pageant queen that you look up to the most? Like, who is your inspirational queen?
I have multiple na I can mention for this one, but I guess I would say specifically sa experience ko ngayon, it would be Maria Thatil. Talagang siya yung I remember when I was waiting for the announcement of the top 100, I kept lurking her Instagram page and listening to podcast interviews with her na parang she was just so empowered na wala siyang pakialam na she looked a certain way or like she was smaller. It didn't bother her. Tapos iniisip ko, wow, she's my height. She's brown too. I am brown, and she was just so unapologetically herself, and she knew how to be vocal. And yung words niya very moving, very inspiring. Sabi ko gusto ko maging ganon.
So as you look at those tan queens that you mentioned, that you said earlier, Alexander William has a question here.